everyone, and welcome to a new video in our study tips series. In today's video we're going to be shedding light on something that is currently happening, and probably some few weeks have passed during our quarantine online studying. So I wanted to actually talk about this because I would have loved if people have given me advice during this time, and I would have actually appreciated if someone helped me, especially if this is my first time taking online classes. And this is why I'm actually going to give advice based on some of my experiences that I've had. So the very first thing that I would actually talk about is exploring the system. So whether you're actually using your school or your university system or just simply Zoom, it is very important to actually just literally look at the system, try to find where things are, and actually understand where they are. This is important, especially if you're basically like a university student who is going to spend the majority or practically most of the semester online. So this is very important to understand. And also, what I mean by exploring, I mean when you would have the online conference, especially if you're not using Zoom and it's something a little bit different than what you've done before. So it would be important to actually just look like, oh, what can I do with this option, or what can I do with this option? How can I actually adjust my microphone, or how can I adjust my camera based on the system, and so on. How can I actually like open the microphone and so on, because in my university system, that's the thing, you have an option when you join the online conference from the very beginning. You either listen or you use the microphone. If you decide to use the microphone, you have the option to mute your microphone and not use it later on, which is usually the better option sometimes, because some professors be like, no, we have to actually hear you saying that you're attending, like saying here and so on. So things like that you learn through the time, which is why it comes to, we could say, it's a sub point where just stay calm. This is why stay calm during trying to figure it out, because even your professor, if they're not used to the online systems and so on, or your teachers are still kind of learning their way or getting to know what's going on with the system, so they're taking their time doing this. So it's actually very important to do this. The second thing is, during your online conferences, it would be extremely great if you're able to keep up with your professor. Now obviously I know that sometimes the voice quality is quite horrible, and a lot of times you might not get certain sentences at all, like you might have missed like a couple of sentences because of the network and so on. So your teacher professor's voice is not hearable at all. You cannot hear them, and that's normal, but it would actually be of immense help if you actually take notes. And when I mean notes, I mean you're jotting down points. This would keep you up while in the class, because sometimes certain classes are a lot longer. We're talking 2 hours, and especially if they're just using a presentation or something and you're not really seeing your professor on the webcam. So it would be of great importance if you were able to just jot down a few notes for you to actually remember what you took in the class. Because sometimes the thing is, you wouldn't find recordings of these conferences. It depends on the system, but sometimes either your professor did not post it yet, or you were not able to find this, and some of them sometimes don't record it either. So it would be of immense help for you if you were able to take notes about it, remember what you took in this class, even ask your professor for the presentation that he used if he already did not send it, or she if your professor did not send your PowerPoint presentations or whatever they used during the conference. So I'm not going to be like, yeah, don't use your phone, no. But what I'm trying to say, would be nice actually to just keep up with it, because you would not cram up so much during your midterms, which are fast approaching, by the way. Another thing during studying that I would actually really want to highlight is try to review what you took before. And I know I'm saying this because I'm one of those people who for some of their classes, they did not actually study everything that they were taking, because they did not really have quizzes or assignments much in it. So they were like, okay, you know, I'll give them time when midterms comes. Now, we don't know when the midterms will be, how the midterms will be done either, so it will be of immense help if you just try to actually just review what you took, because that would help you a lot. So another thing is, you know, some professors would tell you like, you know, we're taking these, you know, lessons and I'm sending videos about them, or I'm doing videos about them, or we're doing a live conference, and if you have any problems, just email me. So this is very important. So I'm not saying that all professors are going, or instructors or teachers are going to actually directly immediately answer your emails or your messages, but it would actually help if you send them an email. I guess they would actually see it when they would have the time, or when they actually see it and they would answer or reply. But really, if you have any problems, try to actually reach out to a professor or an administrator or instructor. They would help you. Also, if something happened to your system, you know, do not hesitate to actually just tell someone that something happened in the system and maybe you're not able to log in or whatever. This is usually very, you know, important to highlight, because sometimes, I mean, this is something that I remember when I was taking some of online courses before in school. I was scared of the system, because I was scared that I would accidentally, you know, click on a quiz and it would immediately open the quiz and I wouldn't be able to go back. And, you know, just even if it did open, just tell your professor that was by mistake, I have not meant it. And, you know, they usually, especially in the first few times, they will understand the fact that, you know, you're still not used to the system, so you don't know which of the tabs that you're seeing in the system would actually help you. Another thing is, you know, you have to make a schedule. Now, I'm not saying you have to. This is actually beyond studying. In general, just make a schedule, because you might forget dates. That's the thing. You might actually forget, you know, your professor will be like, oh, well, do it in like, you know, you're gonna submit this assignment in 2 weeks. You might forget which day and so on. So this is like very important to just, you know, you're doing a schedule in the sense of, you know, you know when you have to submit these assignments, and you know when is the deadline, and because that would actually be extremely helpful. And when I'm saying also by making a schedule, be reviewing too and studying and so on, because in this time, you know, your professor or teacher, really, you're not depending on them whatsoever. So you need to have online resources, you know, practically just using YouTube or blogs to learn even more, you know, because right now you only have the live sessions, which are not really all the time. You're not exactly attending them all the time, so a lot of the things are depending on you. So this is why I'm saying make a schedule to just keep in mind what have I really studied and what have I completely not studied, because when the midterms comes, as I said, you don't know how will they be done, so you have to basically just try to make a schedule where you don't feel like you're cramming up. Also, making a schedule, this is also for your life in general. It's like, what do I want in my routine? When do I intend to wake up at this point? And then what do I want to do after that? Do I have an assignment that I want to finish? Do I have something that I want to finish or submit today? Or even just things like, you know, I want to catch up on this TV series. Literally, like, it just could be that. But that's the thing, you know, you wanna vary your activities during the day, so making a schedule would be nice. Also, in studying and so on, this really depends on you, meaning you have to practically motivate yourself into sitting down and studying. I mean, honestly, a good amount of us are literally just at home, and even if they go out for like the necessities, it's just that. So you're not really going out, you're not even having that much fun. I mean you're right, like, you know, you're practically stuck at home, so it would be worth a while if you were able to just actually try to motivate yourself into doing these things, because you don't want to cram up, as I said, because that might be quite soon while, you know, your professor's emailing, we have a midterm, you have to now do whatever, this assignment, this midterm that they would do online, so you don't want to cram up. Another thing is, you know, during online classes, you end up learning how to do your assignments via ways that you have not done before. This is leveling up your skills, so take it as something as leveling up your skills and not something that is horrifying and daunting and I don't like it and annoying. Obviously, this is how you're going to be feeling in the beginning if this is your very first time doing something like that, so don't worry about it. As I said, you know, a lot of the professors and instructors and teachers are very helpful. They would help you if you have no idea how to submit your assignments or the quizzes, you know, so just email them, tell them I don't know, and they would help you. Or even, you know, just tell your friends, you know, sometimes some friends would actually know certain things, you know, and they would help you. So maybe even just your friends. If they know something, right? A lot of times it's like we all know nothing and we just have to email the instructor, and yeah, that's it. So also another thing is, this is a time where you could even be able to take, well, skills. You can end up having, as I said, leveling up skills. We're not only talking about you know, school or university, not that type of studying. We're talking about career-wise. I have always wanted to learn about this. Well, you have all the time in the world, literally, because you're at home. So just do this is why I was saying do a schedule, because if you're doing a schedule, you'll be able to do a lot of activities rather than just, you know, your online conferences and your assignments and so on. So this is why I was saying you have to motivate yourself. In a sense, this is why you have to know what are your priorities, what do you expect in doing, you know, this is the thing, really. You have to really know what are your priorities and so on, and to genuinely just sit down and jot them down, because that would be very helpful. You wouldn't miss anything, you wouldn't miss deadlines, right? You don't want to miss deadlines in assignments, especially if you know they're important, especially because sometimes some professors, they take your assignments as the fact that you're attending, especially if they're not doing should I say regular conferences, online conferences. So it would be of immense help if you did that for yourself, really, genuinely speaking. And right now you're just studying for yourself, more or less, right? You have no professor, you have no nothing, and they're just giving assignments, a lot of them, but they are. And so it's really studying for yourself, because everyone can find well, learning, more or less you're learning for yourself. It's not really studying, because you could find, you know, answers on Google. You could just search for the answers and copy paste them and send them. But really, if you took the time to genuinely understand, this would just level you up so much, because you're just leveling up, you know, personally. You're learning a lot of things emotionally. You're sitting with yourself all the time. I mean, obviously you're with your family, but you're not like all the time 24/7 you know, just sitting with them and chatting, right? It's also your life, so you just have all the time in the world. And right now education is changing, and we're seeing it changing, and I hope it's something that we could all benefit from. So this is it for this video, guys. Please comment down below, and we would love to hear from you, from your opinions, and thank you.